Fear, we have a few shows like Manifest you can watch until Season 4 arrives. Stay tuned as we list the top shows you should watch that are like Manifest. First, let's check out Lost, which portrays survivals of a plane crash. While you're waiting for the new season of Manifest to come out, we'll refer you to some close seconds. If you're looking for that same sci-fi mixed with crime, you may want to check out these suggestions. Manifest itself is about a plane that goes missing for 5 years, but passengers on board have no recollection of the flight. On the top of our list is a series called Lost. For those who are 90s babies and older, you may have remembered the show when it first aired back in 2004. The show was centered around Flight 815, which crash-landed 1,000 miles off course. In a short amount of time, the survivors on land soon find out the island they've crash-landed on isn't a normal island at all. They find themselves encountering prior occupants and other inhabitants such as polar bears. The island seems to have secrets of its own. When it's discovered, there are hidden bunkers underground, as well as a large security system. At a certain point, they find themselves against each other. Lost is a fast-paced, suspenseful series where the survivors work together to stay alive. One reason this series quickly rose to fame was the fact that it had plot lines full of mystery. Another being the show always featured intense flashbacks and flash forwards. They were the first ones to do a series like its kind. Other similar shows started to arise after Lost ended in 2010 after 6 long seasons. Next up is Travelers, so let's go see how it's similar to Manifest. Eric McCormick plays Grant McLaren, who's also known as Traveler 2468, who was sent back in time with a team of others who traveled back in time to prevent the apocalyptic breakdown. The show itself focuses on 5 travelers who go back in time. Those who travel back are able to enter the present by taking over the bodies of those who are sickly and on the verge of death in the 21st century. So each member must use their person's life as a cover while they go on each mission. Each mission has had a minimal impact, but still affects the world they left in the past. Luckily, they have help with each mission from an AI system that is able to map out the future and figure out what course of action is best. The travelers have to try and maintain themselves and blend in for the most part so as not to interrupt the future in a negative way. The director of the missions communicates with the travelers through children. In that case, a child is taken over safely and for a brief amount of time. Things seem to go according to plan at first, but the plot thickens when they know future events and how hard it will be to change. As things progress, travelers notice that they start to affect the present and future in ways they can't imagine. The series only goes for 3 seasons, being Netflix canceled the show in February 2019. This TV show is centered around a secret branch of the FBI. Fringe is a piece Manifest fans will want to see. The 5-season series is composed of supernatural science fiction as well as crime procedures. It will be loved by those who love in-depth kinds of shows such as Doctor Who. It stars an FBI agent named Olivia and a scientist named Walter Bishop. Their department handles everything unexplained in supernatural events. The show goes on a case-by-case structure, but things change with each season as the plot thickens and things focus on the core cast. The show has a way of portraying deep relationships and a plot that can be followed. Olivia is a do-it-by-the-books agent, and Peter helps with the cases as well. It's not long before the division finds itself in a bind when a group of scientists who have gone rogue want to take control of time and travel to different universes. A group of troubled teen girls crash land on an island that's peculiar. If you're missing the show Manifest, or even Lost, try out this series called The Wilds. The show aired in 2020 and featured a small group of teenage girls who went down in a plane crash, but they all washed up on the shore of an island. They have no idea they're in the middle of a social experiment. Each girl comes from a different troubled background. They're tricked into going on the trip, thinking they're en route to Hawaii for an empowerment retreat. We get flashbacks for each girl's story, seeing a glimpse of who they were before. 2 girls who boarded the plane were in on the secret, but one of them died. Things get intense when the group of girls gets intoxicated one night, and one girl spots a member who's researching the social experiment. It looked like things would get exposed, but their secret is saved, at least for now. The first season goes over each girl's stories and flashbacks. Some girls struggle with anger issues and have relationship problems, while others put too much stress on themselves. We learn about each girl's past, while we also see how they react to problems they face on the island. Those behind the scenes filming the social experiment examine each girl's social skills and document them. Let's look at the town that was one day enclosed. Chester's Mill is a small town in Maine, where a dome enclosed the city that cut them off from the rest of the world. Under the Dome is a show that goes on for 3 seasons and goes over reasons why the dome is there and who did it. Resources start to become scarce and relationships get tested. Forces on the other side attempt to break the barrier. People inside have to solve mysteries in order to see what's happening, and if anything could make the barrier go away. Of course, right when you think you've got it figured out, you get thrown for a loop. The dome itself is almost impenetrable, and only a little bit of air and water is able to pass through. Oddly enough, missiles or boric acid aren't a match for the strength of the barrier. The dome seems to have an influence on certain electronics. That's the reason why Sheriff Howard died, because he comes too close to the dome and a pacemaker in his chest explodes. Everyone inside the enclosure panics and ponders wonders what will happen in their future. Big Jim, as they call him, seeks to be the newly appointed leader of the town, and the town soon plunges into chaos. Lastly is a show called Leftovers. The series first aired back in 2014 and only lasted a mere 3 seasons. The show is set 3 years after 2% of the world vanished. The show focuses on a police chief and his family and how they're adjusting to life after the event. Cults start to emerge following the sudden departure, and one popular cult is a group of white-clothed people who chain smoke. In addition, there's a cult led by one known as Holy Wayne, and he views himself as the second coming of Jesus. The first season is based around the Garvey family, and each family member is going through their own things. The wife, Lori, joined the cult called Guilty Remnant, and the son left home to be a follower of Holy Wayne, while the other siblings dealt with problems of their own. Then in the second season, the location shifts to a small fictional town in Texas, where no one was lost during the second departure. In this season, the focus shifted to a new family, the Murphys. The Garvey family from season 1 moves to town, and shortly after, there's a town that spreads panic and chaos while forcing the families to confront their inner demons head-on. The third season is based around the 3rd-year anniversary of the sudden departure, and the journey all the families go through as they reflect upon their past lives. The mentally ill former chief of police is someone who is a main focus in the final season, because he sets out on a spiritual journey trying to fulfill his purpose. There you have it, Manifest fans. We went over a few shows alike, some older, some newer. What show are you going to check out? Maybe The Wilds, where a group of test subjects embark on what they think is a vacation? Or maybe The Town that became enclosed by a dome? Let us know your favorite suggestions and thoughts down below.